When using a reinforcement learning algorithm, we need to define what is known as the reward function. This helps the AI speeder figure out what it's doing that is considered good versus what is bad or just simply undesirable. And that's how it learns over time to do what we want it to do. During training, the speeders are rewarded per step, which means every time point after they've taken an action, which is critically when it's going to act again, they are rewarded each step for 3 things. How far along the prescribed path have they reached? How well are they staying on the path? And how well are they matching a target speed set by the designers for that path? But given this is a reinforcement learning algorithm, there also needs to be punishment every time it does something wrong, thereby reinforcing good actions over bad ones. Hence, the speeder receives a penalty when it makes a collision with something else, but this is actually scaled between 0 and 1, and it's based on severity over time. So if it slightly clips something, that's fine in the grand scheme of things, but if it is grinding against another vehicle for several seconds, then that's really bad. So clearly Luke Skywalker never learned to ride an Imperial speeder using Smart Drive. It would consider the training episode to be completely successful if it actually reaches the end of the path, and it gets a big chunk of reward for doing so, thus incentivizing it to reach for the goal. But there's also a time limit on how long the episode is, and it receives a big penalty if it never reaches the end of the path. But also if the vehicle falls off the map, hasn't moved for a while, or simply hasn't moved along the track in any meaningful way, they then terminate the episode and denote it as a failure. This last one is critical, given, as we mentioned, the reward function gives credit when a bot continues to move down the track, but it could conceivably score a lot of reward by simply moving back and forth along the same segment of the track. So the success and failure of the episode has to factor in that the AI speeder might learn to cheat by exploiting a loophole in the scoring system. And as we'll see shortly, there were still weird behaviours that emerged because of these small loopholes that existed. So with this, it brings the bots much closer to their intended behaviour, they can stay on the road and generally perform a little more intelligently. But as you can see, there was still a bunch of issues in how it handled movement, plus a bunch of extra problems along the way.